Hi, I have something here which is a very remarkable airbrush. This is the XDoVET, XDoVET. I don't know how to pronounce that, but this is probably the weirdest airbrush. It probably is the coolest airbrush for you to use. This is technically an Ultra 2024 trap in a Chinese rip of airbrush's body. Now, this airbrush is, like I said before, a tad a little bit weird. It's not like a bad weird, it's like a good weird, okay? So the cup here is removable, which is great, which is I like about airbrushes like these is for easier to clean if the cup is removed. Now, the angle to the paint, from the paint to the nozzle chamber here, a little bit tight, but still cleanable with using our airbrush Q-tips. So I'll remove the cap and the nozzle. Look at that nozzle. Does it look familiar? Does it? Do you need clues? Okay, let me show it to you. This is the official Harder and Steenbeck nozzle. Oh wait, where's it? It is so close to this. And it's wild, right? Really, really wild. Now, it's obviously a rip-off Ultra. The difference is what it looks like, right? Everybody knows what an Ultra looks like. And I guess for them to not get sued by Harder and Steenbeck is they really copied the most generic airbrush in the world. Like, this is like a sleeper build in the computer world, or like this is like stealthy, like really, really stealthy. There are upsides to this. I like this because it has like an actual threading that you can screw and has O-rings on it, not compared to the Ultra. Even though it's still tight, right? Problem is there are instances that if you have put so much force on it, it does fall off, and when you have paint anywhere, it's a disaster. So this is an advantage. Now let's talk about where they actually cheap off, okay? This is a little light. Like it is pure metal here, except this one, this is plastic. Obviously they cheap off it, which is, I guess, not a big deal because it's not a big factor. Because a lot of airbrushers would just remove this when they're airbrush. But if you prefer it, it makes the airbrush really light, feels a little hollow. The Ultra is super heavy. It has thicker metals than this one, right? So let's weight it. So the XDoVET is 75.2 grams. The Ultra, in its full glory, 108. That is 300 grams more. And I think it's because of this and the color changer. It's really heavy airbrush. Now, it's not everybody's preference, but I really like the trigger style of the Ultra. It's a really stiff, like really stiff. It's very hard. Some people don't like it because it's really stiff, but this is smooth. So if your preference is smooth, it's like a smoother Ultra 2024 trapped in a Chinese airbrush rip-off body. So let's do some paint tests so you guys can see what I mean. This is the Hobby Mio air compressor HM Pro, which is we have on store, by the way. Very, very amazing air compressor. This is 285 psi, so we're putting it 3 inches away, and then we're pointing it at our anemometer. It's going for 3.9, 3.8, oh, 3.7. Very consistent. 2.6 so far. And it stayed there. Yep, it just stayed there, which is great, and that's what we need for our airbrush. A consistent flow of air. And the Hobby Mio is doing a great job of giving it consistent air as well. Let's airbrush. I'll be using acrylic inks here to demonstrate the flow first, because acrylic inks are already perfect for airbrushing, so I don't have a problem using them for demonstration purposes. Okay, now just put a little bit. Let's move our little canvas here. Let's put our little canvas here. Okay, and spray. So far, for that. If we go closer, right? Triggers. The response are a little bit delayed. But it's a very cheap airbrush. Like, this is only 1,200, guys, of an airbrush. It's enough to do details, which I like. As we go closer, right, you can control it. Sorry, I'm not still super used to the ultras trigger. No, we ran out of paint, but you can see it works. But we're not gonna use this to paint in obviously paper. We need to paint this in minis. So let's prime using this airbrush. Let's prime with the Armored Komodo water-based primer. This is one of the thickest primers for hand brushing, so we're gonna use this as our demo. As usual, 1:1-ish scale, just enough to give it enough consistency. So we're gonna thinner here. 1:1 scale, enough to give it a milky consistency. Always thin your paints right. If you're not that pro of thinning paints yet, I suggest get one of this. Because if you mix paints in your air cup, it's gonna be a hassle for you to clean if you fudged up. This is a good consistency of primer. Now we put our paints in the cup here. You can see there. By the way, this is a 7cc cup. Now this is Karn. We're airbrushing. We're gonna prime Karn. Okay. Ta-da! Easy. Let's prime another one. Let's prime this Space Marine. I will never strip. I just want to prime it again because I fudged up in one of my experiments. Okay, stop here. Okay, let's prime another one. Let's prime the Artillery Witch from French Crusade. Okay. All our prime and just give it a few minutes to dry. Let's do some movie magic. And this is now them dried. Look at that. A very well primed mini. For like a few seconds. So it works. It does. This airbrush does. And if you look at the details, even in their Space Marine here, that is a prime Space Marine. That is fantastic. Now let's Zenithal prime this as a bonus, right? I'm using Liquitex inks for this one because I can't find my Arcus. So let's Zenithal prime. There we go. Just one direction of intensity. And there you have it. Let's focus a bit. Okay, let's Zenithal the Karn. I want it from going at this direction, so a little bit on his change. And there you have it. Amazing. I will not Zenithal prime my Artillery Witch, but look at that. A Zenithal prime Karn in a few seconds. This airbrush, oh my god, works. Final thoughts I guess I have for this is that for its price, it is a steal. It is super cheap. A lot of drawbacks because of the bag. I think that's it. And of course, a little bit narrow. But it's easy to be solved because you just need a little bit of tenacity when cleaning. And the rest is actually doable. Because if I have like a fudging Ultra 2024 for only 20 bucks, that is already a fudging steal. I am impressed. This is now my new recommendation for a beginner airbrush. It's a highly recommend now. This is a no-brainer purchase because for that price, and I got like a tad quality of the Ultra. It doesn't have the same trigger feel, which is fine to me because if majority of people would prefer a smoother trigger anyway, it's not my preference. But this is really good for the price and to start it. Now you won't be so scared spending hundreds of dollars or spending more than 5,000 for an airbrush kit, because now you have this, a really bang for the buck airbrush.